The cold vastness of space stretched endlessly, broken only by the faint shimmer of distant stars and the damaged human research vessel drifting helplessly. Jay Huang sat strapped into the emergency containment seat, his fingers bleeding from emergency repairs and his breathing labored. The ship's multiple systems had failed after an unexpected quantum storm, leaving him alone and vulnerable in the most isolated region of known space. Naraki's patrol ship discovered the human vessel 3 standard solar cycles after its initial distress signal. Her commanders recommended immediate destruction. Humans were known to be unpredictable and dangerous, but something about the vessel's fragile state and the lone life sign intrigued her. As the alien scanning beams probed the human ship's interior, Jay remained eerily calm. Most humans would panic, but he had trained for extreme scenarios. His hands moved methodically, preserving critical research data even as oxygen levels dropped and temperature fluctuated. Small repair nanobots crawled across damaged circuits, attempting last-minute stabilization. The alien vessel's massive shadow consumed Jay's smaller research craft. Precision tracking beams locked onto his position, preparing for potential extraction or elimination. Naraki watched the human's movements through advanced holographic displays, her multi-chambered heart beating with a mixture of curiosity and strategic caution. Jay knew standard first contact protocols. Humans had encountered multiple alien civilizations, but each interaction remained unpredictable. He activated a universal translation device, understanding that communication might be his only survival strategy. The device flickered, its circuits barely functional, translating his potential messages into quantum wavelengths. Research vessel Horizon 7, scientific expedition, no hostile intent, he transmitted, his voice steady despite the critical system failures surrounding him. The message contained embedded scientific data, a strategic move to demonstrate peaceful intentions and intellectual capability. Naraki's neural networks processed the transmission. Humans were known for their adaptability, but this one seemed different. His data transmission included complex quantum mapping research that even her advanced civilization found intriguing. She hesitated, overriding her commander's immediate elimination recommendation. The alien tractor beam gently, almost carefully, began pulling Jay's damaged vessel into a massive docking bay. Standard procedure would involve immediate quarantine and potential dissection. But something about this human's calm demeanor suggested a different approach might yield more interesting results. As the airlock cycles engaged, Jay prepared himself. His survival suit contained multiple defensive and communication technologies, but he knew physical confrontation would be futile. Alien technology far surpassed human capabilities. His only weapon would be his mind and his ability to communicate effectively. The inner chamber opened. Naraki's biomechanical form stood multiple feet taller than Jay, her exoskeleton gleaming with intricate circuitry and sensory nodes. Multiple appendages could transform into various investigative or defensive tools. Her primary visual receptor studied Jay with intense calculating precision. "Human," she transmitted, "your presence here violates multiple galactic navigation protocols. Explain your mission's purpose." Jay understood the underlying threat. One wrong word could mean immediate termination. He chose his response carefully, knowing that scientific curiosity might be his only potential ally. "Quantum mapping of uncharted regions," he responded, activating a holographic display of his research. "Seeking understanding, not conflict." The simple statement, backed by complex visual data, caught Naraki's attention. Humans were rarely this direct. Most species would attempt elaborate deceptions or show fear. This human displayed neither. Their first encounter balanced precariously between potential destruction and unexpected communication. Neither fully understood the significance of this moment, but both sensed something extraordinary was unfolding. In the silent, vast darkness of space, Jay Huang stood firmly, wounded but unbroken. Naraki observed, her multiple sensory nodes processing every minute detail of the human before her. The universe watched, waiting to see what would happen next. The research chamber hummed with quiet energy, its sterile white walls reflecting soft blue light. Jay Huang stood carefully examining alien scientific equipment, his fingers moving cautiously across unfamiliar interfaces. Naraki watched from a distant observation platform, her multiple sensory nodes tracking every minute. Movement. Humans were not typically invited into restricted research zones, yet something about Jay's approach intrigued her. He didn't touch randomly or aggressively. Each movement suggested careful calculation, respect for unknown technologies. "You understand this is not standard protocol," Naraki transmitted through the chamber's communication system. Her voice carried a subtle undertone of warning mixed with curiosity. Jay smiled slightly, a human gesture that momentarily confused the alien queen. "In scientific exploration, protocols are guidelines, not absolute barriers," he responded, his fingers continuing their careful examination. The quantum mapping device he had brought contained unique calibration algorithms. When he gently connected it to an alien scanning module, unexpected data began flowing. The system's response was not what either had anticipated. Complex mathematical patterns emerged, revealing potential connections between human and alien technological understanding. These patterns suggested something more profound than simple technical compatibility. They hinted at a deeper, almost philosophical alignment of scientific thinking. Naraki's neural networks began processing the unexpected data streams. Her initial skepticism slowly transformed into genuine scientific interest. The human was not just exploring, he was communicating through the universal language of mathematical precision. "Your research suggests unconventional approach," she noted, moving closer to observe directly. Her massive form towered over Jay, yet he showed no fear. The chamber's environmental controls adjusted automatically. Something about their interaction was changing the very atmosphere around them. Microscopic adaptive systems responded to their shared intellectual resonance. Jay explained his research's core principle: understanding universal connections beyond technological limitations. He spoke of human explorers who believed that true scientific progress came from mutual understanding, not competitive isolation. Naraki found herself processing information differently. Humans were typically categorized as aggressive, short-lived creatures, driven by immediate survival needs. This human presented a complex, nuanced perspective that challenged those established classifications. Their conversation moved beyond initial technical exchanges. They discussed quantum mechanics, exploring theoretical models that transcended individual species limitations. Each statement built upon the previous one, creating an intricate intellectual dance. The research chamber's monitoring systems recorded everything. Complex algorithms tried understanding the unprecedented interaction happening before them. A human and an alien, finding common ground in pure scientific curiosity. Hours passed. Jay's initial wounds healed through advanced alien medical technologies. Naraki's rigid communication protocols softened. They were no longer just a potential threat and a rescued explorer. They were becoming something else: collaborative researchers. A small breakthrough occurred when Jay suggested a unique calibration method for their quantum mapping algorithms. Naraki's initial resistance gradually transformed into collaborative enthusiasm. Their different perspectives were not conflicts but complementary approaches. The universe seemed to pause, watching this unexpected connection unfold. Two beings from vastly different evolutionary paths, finding harmony in scientific exploration. No weapons, no threats, just pure intellectual curiosity. "Remarkable," Naraki finally transmitted, her sensory nodes indicating what might be interpreted as excitement. "Your approach challenges our existing research paradigms." Jay nodded, understanding the profound nature of her statement. It was more than a compliment. It was an acknowledgement of potential. Their unexpected resonance continued, each moment revealing deeper layers of mutual understanding. The research chamber, once a sterile space of potential conflict, now hummed with collaborative energy. Something extraordinary was happening. Beyond technological exchange, beyond species boundaries, a genuine connection was forming. The universe watched, waiting to see how this unexpected alliance would unfold. Jay Huang and Naraki stood together, united by something more powerful than their differences, the unquenchable human desire to explore, understand, and connect. The political chambers of the stellar dominion burned with tension. Holographic displays flickered with heated debates, casting sharp shadows across stern alien faces. Naraki stood at the center, defending her unprecedented collaboration with the human researcher Jay Huang. "The human has contaminated our research." "Protocols," growled Commander Relo, his tentacle-like appendages writhing with anger. "No single species, especially a human, should have access to our most sensitive scientific archives." Jay watched silently from a restricted observation zone. He understood the stakes were far more complex than a simple scientific collaboration. Political survival, technological supremacy, and centuries of interspecies mistrust hung in the balance. Nara. Kai's response was calculated. She projected their joint research findings, intricate quantum mapping data that revealed potential breakthrough technologies. Each algorithm challenged existing scientific understanding, showing remarkable potential for universal problem-solving. The chamber grew silent. Politicians and scientific leaders studied the complex data streams. Humans were known for unpredictability, but this presentation suggested something different. This was not aggressive exploration, but collaborative discovery. "Our preliminary research indicates multiple technological advancements," Naraki transmitted. Her voice carried a calm precision that contradicted the charged atmosphere. "The human's approach provides unique perspectives previously unconsidered." "Commander," Relo's secondary neural network activated, scanning the data with intense scrutiny. His initial resistance began to waver. The research was too compelling to dismiss simply because of species origin. Jay remained composed. He understood that his survival and the potential of their collaboration depended on this moment. One wrong move could destroy everything they had achieved. Political maneuvering intensified. Some faction leaders demanded immediate isolation of both Jay and Naraki. Others saw potential strategic advantages. The chamber became a complex battlefield of ideas, with scientific potential as the primary weapon. Unexpectedly, a junior researcher approached the main display. Her transmission carried additional verification of their joint research. The data suggested potential solutions to long-standing technological challenges that had stumped the stellar dominion for generations. The tide began to turn. Skepticism slowly transformed into cautious curiosity. Jay watched, understanding that survival in unknown territories required patience and strategic thinking. Naraki continued presenting their collaborative findings. Each presentation layer revealed deeper connections, showing how human creativity could complement alien technological precision. It was not about superiority, but mutual understanding. Commander Relo's resistance began to crumble. The research was too significant to ignore. Potential technological breakthroughs could reshape their entire civilization's approach to scientific exploration. "We will allow continued research," the senior council finally transmitted, "with strict monitoring and controlled access." Jay allowed himself a subtle smile. The victory was not complete, but it was significant. They had successfully challenged systemic barriers that had existed for generations. The chamber's atmosphere shifted. What began as a potential conflict was transforming into a carefully managed collaborative opportunity. Alien leaders who moments ago demanded isolation now discussed potential research protocols. Naraki approached Jay after the session. Her sensory nodes indicated a complex emotional state. Part satisfaction, part strategic calculation. "You understood the political landscape," she transmitted. It was both a statement and a subtle acknowledgement of his strategic approach. Jay nodded. "Scientific progress requires more than technical knowledge. It needs understanding of complex social dynamics." Their connection had survived its first major challenge. The systemic barriers that typically separated species had been momentarily breached, not through force or aggression, but through intelligent, patient collaboration. Outside the political chambers, the universe continued its endless dance. Stars moved, galaxies spun, and somewhere in the vast darkness, a human and an alien continued their unexpected journey of discovery. The real challenge was just beginning. The interstellar council chambers stood silent, an immense circular space where thousands of alien species gathered to witness an unprecedented hearing. Jay Huang and Naraki sat at the center, surrounded by holographic displays documenting their controversial research. Multiple alien species watched with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity. Humans were rarely given such a platform. Typically, they were considered aggressive outsiders, not collaborative researchers. "Explain your joint research findings," demanded the Central Arbitration Director, a massive crystalline being whose multiple sensory points focused intensely on JJ. Stood calmly. His fingers activated a complex holographic projection showing quantum mapping data that challenged existing scientific understanding. Each visual representation revealed intricate connections between different technological systems. Naraki supported his presentation, her alien technology seamlessly integrating with Jay's human research methods. Their collaborative approach was itself a revolutionary statement, two different species working beyond traditional boundaries. The projection showed how their combined research could solve multiple interstellar communication challenges. Complex mathematical algorithms danced across the holographic displays, revealing potential solutions to problems that had remained unsolved for centuries. "This is impossible," whispered one alien representative. "A human cannot understand such complex systems," but the data spoke differently. Each algorithm, each mathematical model demonstrated a depth of understanding that transcended species limitations. Jay's approach was not about human superiority, but collaborative problem-solving. Suddenly, an elder scientist from a highly advanced civilization challenged their presentation. "Prove your research's practical application," he demanded, believing they would fail. Jay smiled. He had anticipated this moment. With precise movements, he activated a secondary projection showing practical implementation scenarios. The holographic display revealed how their research could revolutionize interstellar communication networks. The chamber grew quiet. What began as a potential confrontation was transforming into a validation of unexpected potential. Naraki's additional commentary provided critical context. She explained how Jay's human perspective offered unique problem-solving approaches that alien scientific communities had overlooked. Their collaboration was not about one species dominating, but mutual learning. Political tensions began dissolving. Representatives who moments ago were skeptical now studied the research with genuine interest. The presentation challenged fundamental assumptions about scientific collaboration. An unexpected moment occurred when a young researcher from a distant star system asked detailed technical questions. Jay's responses demonstrated not just knowledge, but deep scientific understanding. The arbitration director's sensory points indicated increasing positive responses. The research was too significant to dismiss. What had started as a potential confrontation was becoming a moment of scientific validation. "We will review your complete research documentation," the director finally transmitted. The statement carried weight. It was a formal acknowledgement of their collaborative potential. Jay and Naraki exchanged a subtle communication signal. They understood the significance of this moment. They had not just presented research, they had challenged existing scientific paradigms. Outside the chamber, news of their presentations spread quickly. Multiple communication networks began discussing the unexpected human-alien collaboration. What seemed impossible was now a potential reality. The confrontation had transformed into validation, not through aggressive arguments, but through intelligent, collaborative presentation of scientific potential. As the chamber's environmental systems adjusted, marking the hearing's conclusion, Jay understood they had achieved something remarkable. They had shown that scientific understanding could transcend species boundaries. Naraki's sensory nodes indicated complex emotional responses, satisfaction, strategic calculation, and something that might be interpreted as respect. The universe watched, waiting to see how this unexpected alliance would reshape scientific exploration. One collaborative research project had challenged centuries of established thinking. Jay Huang and Naraki had done more than present research. They had opened a door to a new understanding of collaborative potential. The real journey was just beginning. The galactic diplomatic hub pulsed with unprecedented energy. Years of collaborative research between Jay Huang and Naraki had transformed from a single unexpected encounter into a revolutionary movement that reshaped interstellar understanding. Massive holographic displays showed their combined research's impact. Entire communication networks had been redesigned. Scientific protocols that once separated species now became platforms for mutual exploration. "We are witnessing a fundamental shift," transmitted the Universal Research Coordinator, her voice carrying a mixture of excitement and historical recognition. Jay stood beside Naraki, no longer just a human researcher, but a symbol of collaborative potential. Their partnership had challenged fundamental assumptions about species interaction. What began as a chance encounter in a damaged research vessel had become a watershed moment in galactic history. The transformation was not just technological. It represented a philosophical revolution. Species that once viewed each other with suspicion now explored collaborative research models. Humans were no longer seen as aggressive outsiders, but as potential partners in scientific discovery. Multiple research stations across different star systems now implemented their integrated communication protocols. The quantum mapping techniques they developed allowed unprecedented data exchange, breaking down barriers that had existed for centuries. Young alien researcher approached them, her sensory nodes showing deep respect. "Your work has changed everything," she transmitted. The statement carried profound meaning, an acknowledgement of their revolutionary approach. Naraki's neural networks processed the moment's significance. Their collaboration had done more than solve technical challenges. It had provided a new model of understanding, one that valued perspective over predetermined limitations. Jay understood the deeper implications. Scientific progress was never about individual achievement, but collective understanding. Their work demonstrated that genuine exploration required looking beyond existing boundaries. The Stellar Dominion's research archives now included extensive documentation of their collaborative journey. What was once a potential conflict had become a template for future interspecies interactions. Political leaders who initially resisted their work now championed their approach. Research funding increased. Collaborative programs emerged across multiple star systems. The ripple effect of their single partnership continued expanding. Environmental adaptation technologies developed through their research began solving complex planetary challenges. Multiple species could now communicate and collaborate in ways previously considered impossible. "We are not just researchers," Jay once told Naraki during a quiet moment. "We are bridge builders." Their statement became a philosophical cornerstone for a new approach to scientific exploration. Species differences were no longer barriers, but opportunities for mutual growth. The universe watched this transformation. Stars continued their ancient dance, but something fundamental had changed. The concept of isolated scientific development was dissolving, replaced by collaborative potential. Naraki's massive form moved with a grace that suggested more than physical movement. She represented a new model of leadership, one that valued understanding over traditional hierarchical structures. Jay's human perspective continued challenging established thinking. His ability to see connections where others saw only differences became a valuable scientific approach. Their personal bond transcended professional collaboration. They had become something more than research partners. They were living proof. That genuine understanding could overcome any barrier. Political maps were redrawn. Scientific protocols were reimagined. The simple act of two individuals from different species choosing collaboration over conflict had transformed entire civilizational approaches. Young researchers across multiple star systems now studied their journey. Their story became more than a research case study. It became a philosophical testament to the power of open-minded exploration. As galactic communication networks continued expanding, Jay and Naraki's work remained a foundational reference. They had not just changed scientific understanding. They had provided a new vision of potential. The transformation was complete. What began in the cold darkness of space, with a damaged research vessel and an unexpected encounter, had reshaped the very understanding of scientific exploration. The universe continued its endless journey, now carrying a new narrative of hope, collaboration, and unlimited potential.